Yair, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
So you're in Melbourne as well as me.
Yeah,
It's
correct.
nice to finally be in the same time zone as someone. Um, so welcome everyone back to Pride in the Living Room, Jewmos edition. Quick reminder, Pride in the Living Room was founded by Israeli LGBT task force Agudah in memory of the 2009 Tel Aviv Gay Center shooting and the Jerusalem Pride Parade stabbing in 2015. And Ha'agudah founded this project to offer a stage to LGBT Jews from around the world to share their stories in the hopes of spreading empathy and community all around the world. So, all of that said, it is my pleasure to welcome Yair to share his story.
Thanks, Jared. First of all, I would really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak and share my story here in this amazing project. I'm actually those events that you were talking about, horrible events that happened in Israel, were connected deeply in throughout my story of coming out and becoming who I am today. And actually, the mass shooting that happened in 2007, I think, where one LGBT coordinator and one young LGBTQ ally was murdered in Israel was the thing that actually helped me and motivated me to volunteer in IGI, which is the Israeli Gay Youth Organization, and uh, really helped me to become who I am and develop a lot of skills that I have today. So I'm really appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak out my story, my gay story and Jewish story all together in your initiative. So thanks a lot. So I haven't rehearsed that, so it will be a little bit raw, but bear with me. Introduce myself shortly. My name is Yair Liberman. I am 33 years old. I'm married to my partner Tal. We both recently moved to Melbourne from Israel, um, where actually I moved 7 months ago, and we got married here in Melbourne. And in a little bit my profession, I'm a data scientist. I have a master's degree in math, and I actually in my just before coming to Melbourne, I was discharged from the Israeli army after 11 years of service as a major in the Israeli Air Force. And coming to Melbourne and seeing all those online activities for LGBTQ plus Jews that are searching and wanting to be a part of a bigger community, which for me as an Israeli guy was being in Israel, being Jewish was kind of, you're the majority, you're the obvious thing, and you don't really think about it a lot. But coming here and seeing all these online activities of people who are looking to light their fires, whether they believe in religious beliefs or just looking for some kind of heritage. So for me, it was really aspiring to see all these activities and all this gathering on the community with the community, uh, which helps a lot of people really look and find meanings in their life. So this is something that really impressed me. So I think I'll tell a little bit of my story. I think part of the reason that I'm here sharing it today was my genuine belief that and personal experience that LGBTQ plus organization or community was the core reason for me to really develop myself as a gay Jew LGBT man. And I think they had a profound role of helping me find my identity and help me develop my self-confidence in my identity and believe in myself. And I think this is the reason that I really believe that people who went through these processes of coming out of the closet, being exposed to the world, growing as a human being, and discovering their identities should really try to share the stories to other people in order to try to really motivate and let people see how good it could be eventually. Um, and this is something that I really acknowledge a lot about this profound role of those communities in my life. So this is part of the reason that I'm doing that. Um, so jumping right in, I grew up in a small family. I have a younger and older brother in Israel. I grew up in a small town called Bat Yam, one of the Tel Aviv suburbs. My parents were kind of liberal, so I don't think that um, I had a lot of issues growing up in disguising myself um, or hiding my identity in a way. But I think at a really young age, I did understand that I'm different from other people, and that I am looking for other things. In if you think about sexuality and romantics and being in love, so I instantly going through puberty, I understand that I'm a little bit different. And my experience in that time was different than my friends. I was looking at boys, I wasn't looking at girls. Um, and I think one of the things that I was happy about that I wasn't intimidated by that. I didn't think, oh my God, this is something bad that happens to me. I really thought that it is the good thing and trying to pursue uh, getting more connections and meeting more people who are the same. But really, then growing up at the beginning of the 20th century was for me a feeling that I let's say I was the only one from my high school that was actively saying he's gay, and nobody else was around me to be as a role model. I did, in a way, had a lot of role models going on, growing up in Israel in those years. The media was occupied a lot in LGBTQ characters, and I think this is one of the things that really um, made me search for some kind of organization that I would feel belong to. And in the age of 17, I called I had a IGY, Israeli Gay Youth group in my city, in Rishon LeZion, and I got the nerve and I called the instructor there and asked to join the group. And I think it was the first time in my life that I went into a room and the room was actually full of gay people. lesbian, all different variety of people. So for me, it was an overwhelming experience. I think this day when I had my first meeting in Iggy, I really feel the power of being being a part of a larger group and feeling belong. I didn't had any issues in feeling belong before. Like it was alright, but I really didn't feel at home with my friends. They were everybody are okay. They are good friends. They love me a lot. I love them a lot. But being in a room with people that you know having sharing the same story as you are, it's something that really inspired me and elevated me instantly. So I think this is the first change that I did understand the power of the community and how it can really affect on a person's life. And for me, being 17, which is the age of first love, and everything starting to blossom, and you a little bit starting to understand who you are. So doing that with a group of people that were in my age, and they were all in a, let's say, in a part of some of the journey, in different part of the journey, but they were kind of the same. So I had my first boyfriend from this group. It really helped me have some kind of a normal growing up story as being gay and having all these stories that all my straight friends have of first kiss and first love and first relationship, and doing that in with someone with people that I felt really safe. So I think this is the one thing that helped me feel that being gay is really like a present that was given me, and feeling happy of being a part of this kind of community, and made me a lot of really like sex positive and really happy when people talking about pride, and also a little bit of really activist when you think about the LGBT rights. And yeah, I think growing up in Israeli, it was a mixed feeling about because the Israeli liberal society is really accepting for gays, and growing up it was a journey to have more and more rights. But from the other hand, we have a lot of sectors that opposed being gay and oppose LGBT rights. So it was kind of being feeling safe in your own city, your own town, the area that you are living in, but knowing that if you go far from that to other communities, you won't feel so welcome. So that was my experience growing up. So after I finished high school, I moved to Jerusalem to study my bachelor degree in the Hebrew University. And there actually, again, I instantly, I have a sense of connection for organizations. So instantly when I get to Jerusalem, I didn't know anybody, and I looked for some place which I can feel belong. And I joined a group, student body group for LGBTQs in the Hebrew University, which was meeting once in a week and having different activities. And I walked into the room and I saw people from, all ages and talking to one another in gay language, you say, or gay slang, Hebrew gay slang, and I felt excited as hell. It was, for me, I think, another step going inside the LGBTQ culture that really helped me understand how unique or just a unique concept of language and culture and community that people share. And I instantly became one of the group and started managing all the activities there, some of the activities, and this was really a good experience for me. But I think the really beautiful things those years that in Jerusalem, we started to see all those different organizations for religious LGBTQ people, really different kind of social organizations that are more focused on lecturing and giving up the message that being religious, Jewish religious and LGBTQ is actually something that can be done. And I think that the thing that I saw that really understand that is that a lot of people are trying to see a connection between being Jewish and being gay, and can experience a life of multiple identity, still holding really tight on the Jewish identity, regardless of the halacha and how exactly they live, like the details. Everybody is working out themselves with the details of what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong for them. But they're holding tightly in the Jewish identity and creating themselves a full Jewish life with everything, a community, a synagogue of their own, marriage, celebration, everything in a Jewish form, and also living the full LGBT gay life without any without any problems of self-doubt or other things that were always on my mind. And for me, it was being someone who was growing in Tel Aviv area, coming to Jerusalem, seeing all this spiritual development of the community was really amazing. And I think a lot of the Jewish heritage that I have today well, thanks to experiencing those experience with the guys from the organization in Jerusalem. Moving forward, I finished my bachelor degree and I went inside the Israeli army. I served there for 11 years. I think it took me about a year to really gather the courage to tell people there that I was gay, that I'm gay. But, well, I was a technical officer, so I think once I didn't grow up in a very machoistic, I didn't work in a very machoistic environment per se, even though the army itself is pretty machoistic. But I think just instantly when I gathered the courage to tell, I really understand that this is not an issue. And I was able to tell a lot of people, to share my story, to, ask for, going out for the Pride Parade going out early from work when I was a young officer for the Pride Parade without people raising eyebrows at me. And so it was really fun to see that. And even there, I the army is a place where a lot of different groups in the Israeli society meets, and you have a lot of religious, really ultra orthodox people going there, and you're with them, you're working with them shoulder to shoulder, and I was surprised about how easy it was to really let them know me and really let them know my personal life without them judging me and telling me something and telling me horrible things. So it was really different than some of the things that you see in the news that you see all the time the media is presenting all those really different or radical part of the society that really, I don't know, objects gay life. But when you speak with a person face to face, you tell your story, he share his story, none of this, you don't see any of it. And you just see them looking at you saying, okay, I'm happy that you're happy. Getting invited into a lot of weddings, a lot of ultra-Orthodox wedding, being praised on dancing like one of their own. So this was actually a really good, one of the best things for me to understand that, cultural differences can be overcome easily by really sharing personal stories, personal notes, without having to, without having some kind of issues or troubles or challenges with that. So I think this whole experience was overall good. Was one of the things that made me eventually volunteer as a youth instructor in Israeli gay in IGI, and I was there for 3 years. I managed a group in Rehovot of people from ages 12 to 18, which was really a nice experience to see. And what amazed me that if I thought my story was good, their story is even better. And you see the progress that every generation have. If I was the only gay in my year in high school or in my school, then there were also already a group of friends who were all openly gay in, I don't know, in 10th grade, and being together. And even if they were being bullied, they had some kind of a protection mechanism and friends to share it with. So that was one of the nice things to see, and being able to really give them the ground to grow, and obviously let them know about all the journey that they have to do in order to get to this point. So the community as a whole had to move in order them to be in the point where they are. So I think this was one of the really interesting things I've done. I think I think I think I'll finish with a small thing, small story about me coming to Australia. I really had I came to Australia first time on Passover, and it was I really wished that I would have some kind of a feeling of Jewish Passover meal here and experience the holiday like I was at home. And my partner just called the synagogue here, one of the synagogue in the CBD, or their synagogue, the big synagogue in the CBD, and wanted to ask them if we can join just few hours from lunch. Saying, okay, me and my partner, just make sure we're okay, and we really want to come for a Passover dinner. And they said, come on, come over. We have room, no problem. We went there and we sat, and we went actually a really beautiful family from USA that also one of the daughter was lesbian and the other one was binary, and they were really accepting. The parents were really accepting the children and really trying to give them the Jewish experience, and everybody was very inclusive, and that really made me feel at home in this moment in time. So I think that here I can see a really good Jewish community, really strong one that allows you being gay. And I hope that people share. I don't know. For me, it's just a look from the outside, but I hope that people experience the same thing from the inside.
Thank you, Yair, for sharing with us your beautiful story. I think anyone who listens to you speak will be able to take away the core values that have guided you. You know, being empathetic, sharing your story. You were saying that you came from a place where you had self-doubt, and the experiences that you had, particularly with Iggy, and all the acceptance and wonderful moments that you've had with your family, in the army, they've all shaped you into the person you are today. I think that's really inspiring for people to hear. Something you said close to the beginning was being gay is a present. Being gay is a gift. And there are many people out there who don't think that. So it's really nice to hear that from you.
Yeah, thanks. I do believe, you know, there are all those questions that you are being asked. People are asking that all the time, asking themselves sometimes, and sometimes they do it a lot of in gay organization when they are asking if you have the pill and you could choose what a pill that made you straight or a pill that made you I don't know, accept yourself and being gay, stay gay. So for me, you know, at the beginning, it was always like thinking, okay, what should I be straight? Should I stay gay? But just, you know, as long as the year passed, I just understand like how being gay is somehow, let's say, a celebration, and how celebration is really a big part in being gay. We just think about I don't know, the parties, the fun, the drug, the art, everything that happens around being gay. So for me, I see it as a present, really.
I have one or two questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Well, first of all, so you mentioned Iggy a few times, which is an Israeli gay, well, it stands for Israeli Gay Youth
Yeah.
Organization. What's the name in Hebrew?
So ארגון הנוער הגאה.
Okay.
ארגון organization, נוער גאה, it's a gay youth.
Is it still called Iggy by Hebrew
Yeah.
speakers?
Yeah, just Iggy. I don't know. They just took the initial and made it their name.
I'll have to look it up afterwards.
Yeah.
You mentioned that at IGI you discovered some Israeli LGBT slang, some Hebrew LGBT slang. Can you
Yeah.
share a couple of words with us?
Oh, yeah. So actually, it's really fun because in Israel, there's different way of expressing words for if you're uh, talking to a man or you're talking to a female, and or if you're talking to a man or you're talking to a woman, and you change the word accordingly. So instantly, the way of speaking, if I'm among friends and I'm among gay friends, so I will speak of them in a feminine way. It means I approach them as I would talk to a woman because it is like taking something that people will doing as a disgrace or like as a way of teasing gay people and re-owning it, reclaiming it, and actually having really fun with it. Uh, I think this is one of the really a nice thing that there is. And also there are a lot of words that are coming from Arabic, Moroccans, and all those a lot of old traditional heritage. Like you're talking about face, which the Hebrew word is panim, and you were talking the gay slang would be wedge, and there are a lot of like you talk for someone who's your friend, so like someone who's or you were talking like my sister in Hebrew is achoti, but in the gay language, in the gay slang it would be yachti. So a lot of different variation of Hebrew words we combined with Arabic, which is really really nice. And I think one of the really strong words that everybody is using now, and actually the gay slang was just like going throughout the society through media and people that are rephrasing it and saying it that like. The word for elevating the room, like having a good spirit and being happy, is in Hebrew. There's in gay slang we say le'arim, like to lift, to uprise. I don't know. So this is one of the words that I hear my mother says also, and I know everybody are doing that. So yeah, this is something that goes really widely now.
Reminds me of the English phrase, raise the roof.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's
You
really
can,
fascinating.
yeah, you can also see it like now when you're looking at RuPaul Drag Race, so people are using words and phrases from that show and use it widely. Like everybody are using that, everybody are watching that. But this is kind of the same.
uh, so you were saying earlier that in Israel, you don't really feel a need to be Jewish because everyone's Jewish, the whole culture is Jewish. And then when you move to a new place, there's more of a realization that I am that I need to actively try to hold on to Judaism because it won't be fed to me from the culture. Um, so when you moved to Australia, you were saying you moved during Pesach and you wanted to connect through the festival in the shul. Um, what does Judaism mean to you these days, being in Australia, being in 2020?
Uh, yeah, so for me, uh, I have a really strong connection to my Judaism. I think it's something that began also from my grandparents, especially my grandfather from my mother's side. who I was very close to, and he was the one who always celebrating the holidays and having all the ceremony and the blessing. And I think being here made me go back to the place, the education that he gave me, the traditions that he gave me, and and also being far away from home, doing those traditions, doing those festives and holidays makes me feel closer to my family. So I think for me, Judaism today is mainly feeling really connected to my heritage, and which is somehow related to food, making all the traditional dishes and making the food that my mom or my grandmother used to make. But also for me is essence of feeling belong here where I am, because I have the Jewish community here, which is very powerful and very strong in helping and contributing to its for every individuals in the group. And also, I started volunteering in the Jewish care, so I'm in the youth mentoring program. So it makes me feel, it's somehow, for me, it makes me feel belong, even if I'm really far away from home.
You mentioned that activism is important to you. You said you have an interest in LGBT rights, and you've volunteered in various LGBT Jewish spaces. What do you think draws you to activism? Why is that important to you?
Um, for me, I was when I grew up, I saw that there are sometimes two types of reaction to things that are going wrong. So the first thing was complaining and blaming and feeling out. And the second reaction was, okay, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to perfect it? And I think this is something that I heritage from my mother's side. She is a teacher, educator in Israel, and she always tried to teach us the way of tikkun olam, making the world a better place, through all sort of social working and a lot of things. And so this is something that I really took with me. And also, I think one of the things is that when I grew up, I volunteered in MADA, which is the Israeli Red Cross first aid organization. And after a while, I was using my, when I think when I was 16 years old, I was using, 17, I was using my volunteering there as an excuses to go meet other gay people and telling my parents where I am. So I think I said, okay, I owe them and I owe all those organizations and that, so I have to get back in during time. So I think this is one of the things that drove me to really be some sort of an activist. And I think that I've just saw during the years that it's working. If you fight for something and not big and you're loud enough, so things eventually, slowly, very slowly sometimes they go backwards, sometimes, but they always eventually go forward if there are enough volume of fighting. So I just wanted to be a part of that.
I have one final question. So you said you're 33.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way back to when you were 5, 6, 7. in the beginning of your story, when you first realized that you were different, whether or not you had the vocabulary at the time. And looking back on that moment and everything that you've learnt and gained throughout your life, if you had a chance to speak to him, what would you say?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I think I would say that, you know, listen, you're gonna go through a confusing time of your life, um, but just have always the confidence to really um, trust your instinct and do whatever you feel is right for you, and uh, don't be afraid of consequences of what will other people think. If you do that, I think everything should be fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Yair, for being here with us at Pride in the Living Room, Jewmos edition.
Thank you, Jared, for doing that.
It's my pleasure. Here's to sharing our stories in this moment and many more moments in the future. See ya.